Welcome back, guys. This is a second and final video on two-part video series for how to publish Salesforce Platform Event on Kafka using MuleSoft. In my previous video, if you remember, we set up a platform event on Salesforce, correct? And then we will able to subscribe this platform event that we had set up in Salesforce into a MuleSoft flow. This is what we had done. If you remember, this is what we have done, correct? We initially went to the Salesforce, set up the platform channel, platform event, and linked that platform event to one of the object known as student, and we were able to consume that event into our this MuleSoft flow. Now, in this video, we will be focusing on the Kafka. So for that one, first we need to have a Kafka cluster, correct? And apart from Kafka cluster, we have to have a Kafka topic within that Kafka cluster. So I am using Confluent-Cloud. So I have an account in Confluent-Cloud. You guys can also set up if you need to. And it is a managed service from the Confluent. It is a 60-day free trial offer, so I am using that privileges over here. So what I have done over here is in the Confluent side, on the Kafka side more precisely, I set up a primary cluster. It's a basic cluster. It's not going to cost me much. So I set up this cluster over here. I put a name Salesforce data chain. Okay. So this is the cluster that I have set up over here, and things that we need to remember for our setup is some of the information that you guys need to note it down, and because you will need them into while you are setting up your MuleSoft flow. So just to quickly run through the cluster setting, as I said before, it is a basic cluster. So I don't need to pay much, and it is onto the single availability zone set up in the AWS. And what I have done onto the Kafka side is I set up this cluster, and also just give me 1 second. Let me go back over here. Yeah. So I set up the cluster, and also what I have done is I set up a schema. Okay. It's always a good practice to register in a schema and hook that schema to the Kafka topic, and we will talk about that one in a channel in a second. So for the schema registration, it's simple. You can come over here, schema registry, and for me, I already have this schema that I have created, and it's simple, nothing fancy over here. There is only two fields: student ID and student name. Student underscore ID, student underscore name. I had given this record a name student record. Namespace I have provided this com.freetraining.salesforce, and the name of this record is student record. Now if you go back, let me go back. You can also follow the same thing. You can give a name. It's Avro. And if you take a look into this one, the good thing about this this setup is using the Confluent-Cloud managed services, Kafka services. You don't need to type from scratch. It's already providing you the detail, so you can specify the name of the subject. Automatically, it will show up over here then as a record name. Then you specify the namespace. You can change the namespace over here, and whatever field you have, basically you can specify that. So for me, there was only two fields, correct? Student underscore ID and student underscore name. And they, if you take a look into this, they did a good job over here. Is they are giving you, if you want to type that, if your field type is integer, you can define as an integer. If your field type is double, you can define as a double. If your field type is a string, you can define as a string. And by the way, this is a Avro, so there is no minimum size, maximum size, or minimum value, maximum value. That kind of attributes pertaining to the fields are not applicable in Avro. And if you have that kind of requirement, that you need to then manage within your code. Okay, so that's so what I had done, I have set up this this schema, this student detail change value. I just put that one over there as for the namesake, and if you take a look into this one, this is the name and this is the namespace, and I have two fields over here. Okay, that's the first thing that I did. So I put a schema registry over here. Now second part of this one is I did create a topic. So if you take a look into this one, creating the cluster itself is not going to suffice our need, because cluster is just nothing but cluster setup, and you publish the Kafka like messages, whatever you want to call it, into the topic. So for that I had created this student data change topic. Again, it's not that very rocket science. Let's go through really quick go through this, like how does it look like. So it has a if you take a look into this one, it has a production consumption right now, nothing in there, and I did the registration of my schema. So if you take a look into this one, so this is what I did. This is the schema that I had created, and I hooked that schema to my this Kafka topic. I created the topic and basically hooked to that one. So if you go back to this topic again, you can add a topic over here like this. You can basically give the name, and you can give the name of your topic, and you can basically specify how many schema, like how many partition you want to create. And in the advanced setting, you can specify your policy, like 1 week, like how long you want to retain your Kafka messages, 1 week, 2 weeks. So like I in my program, basically in my topic, I did it set up for 1 day. So just to play around with that, and these are the various settings based on your need. You can set them up. Okay, so that's what I have done for the topic. As I mentioned before, for the cluster setup, this is the name of my cluster. It is this is a bootstrap server, and I will talk about this one in a bit. So moving onto the Kafka cluster setup. So cluster has been set up, a topic has been set up, and I did register a schema and hook that schema to the topic. So that way my topic will have only the data that I am looking for. It will not have any unwanted data, let me put it this way. Okay, so it has a schema. I registered this schema basically, and you will able to do the same thing. You can register it, but you need to first set up the schema. Okay, now if you go back to the message right now, and let me set up 0 and see. So right now I don't have any message, correct? Like everything is empty into this topic. Nothing is been available for the consumer to consume, because I haven't published any message onto this topic. So let's get back onto the MuleSoft, okay? Because that's a critical piece over here. So MuleSoft, in order to set up the MuleSoft, what I have done over here is I just put the HTTP listener over here. So we can initially send the message containing the student ID and student name, and then we will publish those into our Kafka topic. So how to set up the Kafka? Of course, for this one you need to look for Apache Kafka, and basically it's a publisher. So I'm using this publisher. So you can just drag and drop over here. This is a publisher over here. Now the setup is the critical piece over here. Okay, so for the setup perspective, if you come over here, you need to go on to the basic setting. Click on this basic setting, and let me edit it so that way it will be easy to go one by one. Okay, and let me expand it a little bit from where to get what information. It's very simple setup. There is no rocket science in this one. Only thing that you guys need to remember is I'm here. My connection over here is producer SASL/plain. So this is the critical. This is the critical piece, correct? There are various connection over here, but we are using SA as well as plain connection, because we don't have Kerberos connection, we don't have plain text connection, because you are using Confluent-Cloud Kafka cluster, so we need to use SA as well as plain connection. Okay, and for that one, journal is bootstrap server URL. Now the question is, over here I said edit inline, and if you see over here I have this information, and you can click on plus sign and basically put the value over there. Now the question is, from where you will get this value. Now let's go back to our Confluent-Cloud cluster overview, networking. Sorry, this is the bootstrap server. Okay, so just copy this information from there to here. That's it. Correct? You just click on plus sign, put the value over there. This is what you have. Now the second question over here is, what is your username and password? Correct? So from where you will get the username and password? Okay, very simple, nothing fancy. You just need to know from where to get that information from Confluent-Cloud. Okay, that information is available in data integration. If you click on data integration and click on API key, you need to add the keys. Keys is user ID and password. Okay, simple. You like so this is what it is, key and secret, correct? So this is the key and this is the password, and that's what you need to set up over here. Key, that means user ID, password, secret key. Okay, key and secret. Key means user ID, secret is password. So all you need to do is just create this one. You can click on add key, and you have just click on next, and it will create an ID and key and secret, and that you can basically use it. So I already set it up, so I'm not recreating it, but you guys can do the same thing. Okay, so that's another thing. User ID, username is a key, and password is the secret that you need to get it from Confluent-Cloud. Now one thing that is important on this second tab is security. Okay, your HTTP identification algorithm has to be HTTPS. Okay, that's number one. Number two is this TSL configuration. You have to click on edit inline, and you don't need to set up anything over here. All you need to do is click on insecure. That's it. And the reason being, because behind the scene Apache Kafka, this MuleSoft connector do this default setup, and if we do not set up the TLS configuration, edit inline, and set don't check this one, we will not able to connect to the our Kafka cluster. So that's a reason you need to set this thing up over here. Other than that, I am not setting up anything. If you take a look into this one, I am not setting up anything. Okay, similarly for the advanced, I am keeping the things default, but it all depending on your requirement, like how big the batch size you want to do, what is the buffer size for you, because this is a very simple two-field message, correct? So I am not bothered about setting up any of this additional data, additional attributes for the connection. And that's it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to do anything else other than that. So let me show you one more time. I'm here over here in the Kafka topic. Again, producer SLS plain connection is important thing. Add it in line, add the value for your bootstrap server that you can get it from the Confluent-Cloud. Correct? Like we went over here and click on Kafka cluster setting. So that's information is over here. And for the user ID and password, data integration, API key, set up the key is user ID and secret is the password. Okay, and since I already have this topic, I created this topic, student data change, and in this student data change I basically link it to my schema that I had created as part of my overall environment setup. So over here I have a schema registry, right? So I set up this one. So that being, once you have this one, and you can do the testing, and you will see. Give it a high. Test connection successful. That means information that I have provided over here is perfect and working fine. Okay. So that's something that you guys need to remember. Okay, now let's come back to my micro message flow. What else? What else? Yeah. Okay, yes. So that's a connection, correct? Now the second thing that is critical, of course, in our case is topic name, student data change. So since if you remember, I already set up my cluster. I have this cluster and I have a topic. So this is the name, student data change. So I am publishing with this workflow, I will be publishing my message onto this topic. Okay, and it is very simple. If you take a look into that in the transfer message, what I have done is I am getting a payload which has a student ID and student name, and I am transforming it to another payload which has a field student underscore ID and student underscore name. And this is critical, guys, because my Avro schema that I had registered onto the Confluent, let me get back to you guys over here. Schema, if you take a look into this one, I have a two student underscore ID and student underscore name. And if I will publishing a message that does not contain these two fields, or if there is a mismatch in the name or my field name, my message will not publish onto the topic. Just to make sure that you are when you are publishing the message onto this, if you are following along with me onto this topic, then your name, those two field name has to match, otherwise you will not able to see them. Okay, just to keep that thing in mind. Now let me do one thing. Why don't me let me start this this project so we will see the things in action. Let me start it. Okay, so my flow is up and running. I did the pause because I don't want to keep waiting and all. So if you take a look into this one, things that that is interesting over here is, see all over here. This is what is being used by this MuleSoft connector to establish the connection with the Kafka. And if you take a look into this one, all the settings are set to the default, and that's what we did, correct? Nothing special we have done other than setting up those 2 points, correct? A bootstrap server ID, user ID, password, and HTTPS and TLS connection default, that unauthorized or something like that. Other than that, everything has been set up by using that information. MuleSoft connector was able to establish the connection. Now let's send a message, because this is a REST API call, correct? So let me do one thing. Let me send this message, and if you take a look into this one, I am sending a student and ID, student name, and in our transformation this will be student underscore ID and this will be student underscore name, and our aim is to see over here message. Right now, do I have anything over here? Nothing. Correct? There is no message. Correct? So let me do one thing. Let me go to the Postman and just submit this message. Correct? Student ID, student name, and aim is we should able to see this message into our Kafka topic on Confluent-Cloud. So I am sending it. Send the request. I think I put this incorrect name over here, so let me check it out. What is the name over here? Kafka Publisher, and making sure that what's the number over here? 8081. 8081. This, and let's try one more time. What? Oh my God! This is what happened. Hmm. Kafka Publisher, localhost 8081, Kafka Publisher method not allowed. Oh, sorry guys, because if you see, uh, cancel, let me show you why it is giving me good time, because it is, if you take a look into this one, it is a post method, and all the time I was just putting the cat, right, and I basically I had an initial mistake. So let's do this thing. That is good. At least flow is working. Okay. So this is the message that I have produced in my flow. So that's why status good and Rajiv Euro gibberish. Now you can see over here. See student 1 2 3 4 5 demo this automatically systematically showed up. So that means what we have established over here is we submit the message through the REST API, and we transform it to very simple thing, like, because our message contains student ID and student name, and we transform it, and basically we put that publish payload into this Kafka publisher, and then that message being published into Kafka topic over here. So let's try one more time. Let's change it to some garbage number and change it to student of the year. Oh, done. Okay, let's take a look into this one. Okay, got it, correct. Student of the year what, this is the thing that we had passed. So now we have established that our workflow, that means this workflow that we had put, we are listening to the Kafka REST API, and we are sending the message through the REST API endpoint, we transform it, and we are able to publish it into the Kafka topic. Now our end game is basically for the Salesforce. So very simple, correct? Like previously we had this one, correct? Like we subscribe to this channel. Now I extended this one and created new flow in MuleSoft, and what I have done over here is I am subscribing to the Salesforce Publisher event, correct? This is student change notification event, logging it, making sure that what I am receiving over here, transforming it, because that is critical, because I have a my payload ID is student ID __ C and student name __ C. So I'm basically creating a new payload, and over there I have a student _ID and name, and I'm logging it just for the just to make sure that what I'm sending is captured, and then I'm publishing it into the Kafka topic. Same thing, nothing is special over here, guys. Same information as I said previously, like, because we are using the same topic. So bootstrap server, this information, key, secret, these are the two important things. Security, HTTPS, TLS configuration added in line, and you need to just click on insecure. It does not, it does not mean that it's insecure. It just to set up the default value for all this TLS configuration. So that's the reason I have to set this thing up. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's stop this workflow now and clear, and come back over here on the Salesforce. Come on, and let's start this run this flow. Okay. Okay, so flow has been started. So let me do one thing, because now we are subscribing the event in this flow from the Salesforce, transforming it to make it compliant with our Kafka topic, and then we are publishing it in the Kafka topic. Okay, so everything should work now. So this is my organization, dev environment organization in Salesforce, and where am I? This is where I am, right? So this is my Kafka Cloud, Confluent-Cloud Kafka cluster, and this is a topic over there. Right now there are only two. So let's do one thing. Let's come over here, make some changes. If you guys remember, let me edit this one. So I am editing its Gmail, and I am just doing something like that. Okay, nothing fancy. So I am just saving it. So just remember, student name is Ahmed, and this is his email address, and this is the phone number. So we should see Ahmed in the name and the ID, whatever the ID this student has in Salesforce, that ID we should able to see into our Kafka. So let me save it. It's done. And let's come to the Kafka, and let me zero partition, and let it come. It's coming. So I have to refresh. This is the problem with the view. Come on. Message jump start 0. Let's do the time. 2 partition 0, and let's say 1. Apply. Something I am not doing it properly. Okay, so it seems to me, I think some configuration issue, but let me try something. Let me change the offset to 7 and see, because this GUI is so I got it. Okay, so where is my Ahmed? I have it can also. Okay, good. So if you take a look into this one, this is what we had set up, correct? Ahmed was the one student name that we had set up, and I put the pause onto the video to check and making sure that everything is working. So I also made the changes into the email ID of Atkins over here. If you take a look into my Salesforce, basically I made the changes over here also. So let's give it a try one more time on, and see, hopefully that will work. Pick anyone. Let's take this, and let's make the changes into, and change it to something like that. Not okay, and save it. Amachi. Come over here. Let's see. Do you see Amachi over here? Yeah, Amachi. Came in over here. Okay. So if you take a look into our log, because we are capturing things into the log also, correct? So if you take a look into the log, you will see console over here, MHE, user ID, this is the ID, this is the ID, name that we pass. Atkin is the one that I put the pause, and Ahmed was the first one. Okay, so So that's how now we have established that whenever there is a change into the Salesforce student, okay, when there is a change in the Salesforce student, and we put together a platform event to capture that change, and through our MuleSoft workflow, we were able to capture that event, and we transform that event into the based on our Kafka topic need and publish that one into a Kafka topic. And sorry guys, this Confluent-Cloud is little bit unstable at this time and was not showing me the like all the changes that we are putting together like onto the Salesforce instantly, but it seems to me now it has been established and it is working properly. Okay, so one more time, come over here onto my student object, picking up, let's pick any random one. There are so many A's names over here, so let's see, Ashlot. Make the change and change it to some number over here, and Ashbolt. Come over here, sorry, see over here, Ashbolt and this, that means we consume that event through our workflow and we were able to publish it into the Kafka. So let's come to the Kafka topic over here and you can see that Ashbolt. Okay, so that's all it is about, guys. So you guys can extend it based on your need, correct? Like just a simple workflow, but you guys can extend it onto your need. You can put more logic, you can like do some data validation and so on and so forth. But we have established we can consume platform event into MuleSoft and publish them into the Kafka topics. That's what the main aim behind this whole exercise. So we were able to do that. Thank you very much for watching this video, and hope this was helpful to you and able to meet your requirement. And if you guys have any other integration requirement or any other thing challenge, let me put it this way, whether it's on the Kafka, Snowflake or Cassandra, let me know. I will set up the video and share the details with you guys. So thanks for watching it. Hope this helped you guys. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.